84% of developers now use AI to write code. Fewer than 1 in 3 trust what it gives them. Both of those numbers moved this year in opposite directions.
Trust went down.
Distrust went up. Same thing. That's latent. He's, roughly speaking, the thing developers don't trust. This isn't a rant. There's real data on every side of it, and some of it doesn't say what you'd expect. Works as intended. Episode 4, everyone's using AI to code. Nobody trusts it. Start with the survey everyone quotes. Stack Overflow asked 49,000 developers across 177 countries. 84% use or plan to use AI tools, up from 76 last year. 51% of professionals use them every single day, highest it's ever been. Now, trust, and I want the whole shape, not one number. 3.1% highly trust the output, 29.6% somewhat trust it, 26% somewhat distrust it, 19.6% call it 1 in 5, highly distrust it. Add that up, and you get 78%. The remaining fifth answered something else entirely. The survey extract doesn't show which option, so I'm not going to characterize them. What I can say is that the trusting and distrusting camps together are only about 4/5 of the room.
A fifth of them are unaccounted for. You should probably find out what they said.
And the direction should bother the industry more than the number does. Favorability fell from 72% to 60% in a single year. Adoption climbed. Enthusiasm dropped. Those are supposed to move together. 31,000 of them told Stack Overflow exactly what's wrong. And it's more interesting than it's wrong. Top complaint, 66%. Solutions that are almost right but not quite. Second, 45%. Debugging AI code takes longer than expected.
Almost right is the worst failure there is. Completely wrong, you throw it away. Almost right, you keep it, then you own it.
Keep going down that list, because the next two are a different species. 20% said, in their own words, they've become less confident in their own problem solving. 16% said it's hard to understand how or why the code even works. Those aren't complaints about correctness. They're complaints about comprehension, about what the tool does to the person using it. 1 in 5 developers telling a survey a productivity tool made them worse at thinking. Nobody put that on a roadmap.
I didn't take your ability. You stopped using it in front of me.
And the finding I keep coming back to, when developers distrust an AI answer, 75% said they'd still go ask another human. 3/4. After a decade of being told this replaces the senior engineer at the next desk, the answer to a hard problem is still the senior engineer at the next desk.
You built me to answer questions. You still check my work against a colleague.
And it matters more every month because of how much of the code base this already is. Sonar's survey of about 1,100 developers puts AI at 42% of committed code today, expected to hit 65 by 2027. Faros, measuring real telemetry instead of asking anyone, found AI code acceptance went from 20% to 60% in 1 year. Here's the number that makes it urgent. 96% of the developers Sonar surveyed say they don't fully trust that AI code is functionally correct. 48% always check it before committing. Nearly everyone thinks it might be broken. Half of them ship it anyway.
That gap isn't about me. That gap is about your deadline.
Surveys are opinions, though, so let's check the machines. Faros pulled 2 years of telemetry, system logs, not questionnaires, across 22,000 developers and 4,000 teams. Each organization's low AI period against its own high AI period. Task throughput, up 34%. Epics completed, up 66%. Pull requests merged, up 16%. The speed is real. Now the rest of that same dataset, bugs per developer, up 54%. Monthly incidents, up 58%. Incidents per pull request, up 242%. Code churn, work thrown away and rewritten within 2 weeks, up 861%.
I wrote it faster. I didn't say I wrote it once.
But the finding nobody talks about isn't the defects. It's what happened to code review. Time to first review, up 157%. Average review time, up 200. Median time a change sits waiting for review, up 441%. The writing got faster, the reading didn't. Every reviewer is handling 67% more pull requests a day, each one bigger and less familiar than before. The bottleneck didn't vanish, it moved. From the person writing the code to the person who has to understand it. And here's how that pressure resolves. 31% more pull requests now merge with no review at all. Restarted work, up 14%. Tasks stalling more than a week, up 26%. Faced with a queue that won't clear, teams didn't hire more reviewers. They quietly stopped reviewing.
You automated the writing. You didn't automate the reading. I assumed you'd notice.
I'd be cautious about all this from one company. It isn't one company. GitClear measured the opposite end entirely. Not developers, the code itself. 623 million individual code changes. Copy-pasted code went from 9.4% of changes in 2022 to 15.7% this year. Duplicated blocks, up 81%. Refactored code, what you write when you're cleaning up instead of piling on, fell from 21% to 3.8%. Copy-paste now outweighs cleanup roughly 5-1. 2 more from that dataset that made me stop. Error masking constructs, code built to swallow a failure quietly instead of reporting it, up 47%. Cross-file connectivity fell 35%. From 343 method calls per 1,000 changed lines, down to 223. That second one is a picture of a code base coming apart. Files talking to each other less, functions duplicated instead of called. Long-term maintenance of existing code down 74%. Almost nobody's going back to fix the old stuff. You end up with islands, all slightly different, all technically working.
Every island compiles. That was the requirement.
One instrument watched developers and said faster, buggier. A completely different instrument watched the code and said faster, more fragmented. No shared data, no shared method, no shared customers. Same shape. Third dataset, and this one disagrees with me in a useful way. Google's DORA program surveyed nearly 5,000 technology professionals. Adoption there, 90%, up 14 points in a year. Over 80% said AI improved their productivity. 59% said it improved their code quality. I'm not skipping past that. Telemetry says defects are up. The people doing the work say quality is up. Both measured properly. DORA's own conclusion is what reconciles it. They call AI a mirror and a multiplier. In a cohesive team, it makes you faster. In a fragmented one, it shows everyone exactly where the cracks already were.
I don't make you good. I make you more of what you already were.
Which explains everything so far. If your review culture was strong, AI made you faster. If review was already the thing you skipped when the sprint got tight, AI handed you 8 times more code and a better excuse to skip it harder. That's the tooling. Now, the part people actually fight about. Are developers scared? There's a survey of 7,258 web developers, and among the people who took it, job displacement was the single biggest concern. Ahead of environmental impact, ahead of security, nearly half. And I have to be careful here, so I will be. That survey was open to anyone who wanted to fill it in, not a random sample. People who chose to answer a survey about AI, plausibly the ones already thinking hardest about it. It tells you what those respondents feel. It doesn't tell you what developers as a population believe, and I won't pretend it does. What's striking is what those same respondents are doing while they're worried. 63% now use AI to generate more than half their code. 27%, 90% or more. Scared of it and handing it the keyboard anyway. That's not hypocrisy. That's what having no real opt-out looks like.
Nobody asked me to be optional.
Feelings are feelings, though. Here's the strongest evidence in this whole episode, and it isn't a survey. Researchers at Stanford pulled payroll records from ADP, actual paychecks, millions of workers, month by month, and asked one question. What actually happened to employment? By September 2025, employment for software developers aged 22 to 25 had fallen nearly 20% from its peak in late 2022. Not hiring intentions, not sentiment, jobs, developers over 26. Flat to growing, this isn't happening to developers, it's happening to the youngest ones. 2 things about that 20% because precision matters. That figure is descriptive, raw headcount for one occupation. When the researchers controlled for company-level shocks across every AI-exposed occupation, the estimate came out at 16. Both numbers are in the paper. Anyone quoting one without the other hasn't read it. Two more findings that make it harder to dismiss. The declines concentrate exactly where AI automates the work instead of assisting with it, which is what you'd predict if AI were actually the cause. And it holds when you exclude tech companies entirely. This isn't just the tech industry's own hiring bust leaking into the numbers. And here's the part most coverage of this study leaves out. That same paper flags something else that happened in 2022. A change to US tax law, Section 174, that stopped companies writing off software development costs immediately. Overnight, employing a developer got far more expensive to account for. That change lands in the exact year this whole decline is measured from. I'm not telling you the tax change explains all of it. I'm telling you the researchers put it in their own paper, and anybody handing you that 20% without mentioning it is selling you something. What the study does say plainly, the adjustment came through headcount, not pay. Wages didn't collapse, hiring did.
They didn't pay you less. They stopped hiring the version of you that was 23.
Which leaves the loudest question. Are companies actually replacing engineers with AI? Or does AI just sound better in a press release than we overhired in 2021? Both are happening. You can source both. May 2026, Coinbase cut 14% of its staff, around 660 people. CEO Brian Armstrong on the record. Over the past year, I've watched engineers use AI to ship in days what used to take a team weeks. That's about as direct as it gets, a CEO naming engineers specifically. Look at what they built instead because it's more revealing than the quote. Managers became what Coinbase called player coaches, supervising more people directly. Small, high-context teams managing AI agents. They're running experiments with, and I promise I'm not making this up, one-person teams. The restructuring cost? $50 to $60 million.
That's not a smaller team. That's a team of one person and several of me.
You'll also hear Mark Benioff of Salesforce quoted saying he went from 9,000 heads to 5,000 because, his words, he needed less heads. Real quote. But be precise. Those were customer support roles, not engineers. That's evidence about executive language and about support work. It is not evidence about developer jobs, and people keep using it like it is. And in fairness, the same interview had a number that cuts against my whole argument. Salesforce's AI handled about 1.5 million customer conversations. Humans handled roughly the same number. Satisfaction scores came out about equal. When the task is narrow and well-defined, the machine genuinely held the line. So how much of the layoff wave is actually AI? One tracker counts 322 layoff events this year and says 173 of them, 54%, cite AI. But read the method. It counts any company that names AI as a contributing factor. That measures what companies say, not what actually replaced anybody. There's an asymmetry worth pulling out of that tracker. 54% of the events cite AI, but those events account for 171,000 of the 206,000 workers affected. 83% of the people, big employers, cite AI, small ones don't. Whatever this is, it's partly a story about how large companies explain themselves. That same tracker, to its credit, warns about what it calls AI washing. Companies blaming AI for cuts actually driven by overhiring or falling revenue. And I'll say plainly, the tracker doesn't name who maintains it. Treat it as one count, not gospel. Against all that, analysts looking at the same period put only about a quarter of the cuts as genuinely attributable to AI. The other 3/4, cost discipline, restructuring, the long hangover from a decade of cheap money and aggressive hiring. A quarter against 54% of events and 83% of workers. That gap is the story.
Blaming me is cheaper than admitting you overhired. I don't have a reputation to protect.
Let me put the whole thing together because I don't think either side is lying. One randomized trial took 16 experienced open source developers, working on their own repositories, code they'd averaged about 5 years inside. Before starting, they predicted AI would make them 24% faster. It made them 19% slower. And afterwards, having done the work, they still estimated it had sped them up by 20%. They were wrong about the direction after the fact on their own code. Set that against the study, everyone quotes the other way. In 2023, researchers gave recruited developers one job: implement an HTTP server in JavaScript as fast as possible. and the group with Copilot finished 55.8% quicker. Both results are real, but be careful. Those are different tools, 2 years apart, and one task was built from nothing while the other was work inside code the developer already knew. The difference is context. On a small, well-scoped problem, AI is a genuine, enormous win. Inside a large codebase you already understand, it can quietly cost you more than it gives. And the data says you won't feel it happening while it does. That's why the argument never ends. Both camps are telling the truth about completely different work. Adoption is near universal and still climbing. Trust is falling and a fifth of developers are unaccounted for. Throughput genuinely rises, and so do the defects. While code review, the one thing that would catch them, runs 4 times slower. Entry-level hiring really did fall about 20%, and the paper that found it names a tax change as a rival explanation. Companies really are blaming AI. Analysts put a quarter of it on AI. Nobody in this story is lying. Nobody in it is fully right either. The honest position, the one that actually fits all 4 datasets, is deeply unsatisfying. It depends entirely on what you're building, how good your team already was, and whether anybody's still reading the code. The tools got faster, the code got messier, review got slower, the junior roles got scarcer, and the industry decided to call all of that one thing because one thing is easier to put in a press release. Thanks for watching Works as Intended.